Hello, Recapped Mystery here. Today, I'm going to explain an American science fiction thriller film called Awake. Watch out and take care. Jill Adams is a recovering alcoholic and former U.S. Army medic. To support her children, Noah and Matilda, she works as a security guard at a local medical institution. She enters the hospital late at night and uses her privileges to sneak inside the research lab at the start of the film. She then steals some medications and sells them the next morning to a local drug dealer. Jill returns to her mother Doris' house to pick up her children after an exciting morning. Because of Jill's history of drug usage, Noah and Matilda are currently under Doris' legal custody. Matilda is overjoyed to see her mother, while Noah, like any regular adolescent, is grumpy. Doris waves them go, but asks Jill to bring the kids home by 7 o'clock. The car swerves and comes to a stop by the side of the road as they drive. The mother asks her children if they are okay, but before they can respond, they are hit by a car and thrown into a lake. The family is struggling to get out of the flooded vehicle. Jill and Noah make it to the surface, but Matilda is nowhere to be seen. To their relief, a police officer rescued her and carried her to the shore. Jill is injured, so the officer suggests she go to the hospital. He reveals that the entire city is experiencing a power outage, and everything that runs on electricity or gas is malfunctioning. All of the automobiles in the city suddenly stopped working, resulting in numerous accidents throughout the city. Jill and the kids rush to the hospital, only to discover that it is overcrowded due to accidents. No one knows what caused the power outage or when it will be restored, but staff at the hospital speculate that they may be at war or being attacked by a terrorist organization. As the family waits for help, they notice two patients who had been in a coma waking up at the same moment. They return home and spend the night with Doris. Noah and Jill are unable to sleep, so they gaze out the window at the stars and discover satellites flying at fast speeds. Jill cycles to work the next morning. Even though it is still dark outside, everyone in the neighborhood is up. She is perplexed because the streets are generally deserted at this time of day. She goes to her drug dealer before going to work, and he tells her that he can double the price on any pills she can offer, as sales are surging due to the power outage. Jill takes a risk at work by attempting to steal drugs in broad daylight. Dr. Murphy, the college's chief, walks into the room with two troops and apprehends her. To Jill's astonishment, they are unconcerned about her stealing the medications. They are obsessed with determining the cause of the power outage. Dr. Murphy recalls that Jill used to be a physician, so she invites her to join the survivors hub established to investigate the power outage. Jill declines the offer, preferring to spend time with her children. Brian, a college employee, informs Jill that no one in the city has been able to sleep for the past 48 hours. They're not sure what's causing it, but it's almost as if the power outage has rendered humans incapable of falling asleep. Brian outlines the gravity of the problem, warning that people will soon suffer from the symptoms of sleep deprivation, and that if this continues for long enough, everyone will go insane. Jill did not believe him because Matilda slept soundly all night and was deep asleep when she left for work. Brian is taken aback because the only known individual who has slept in the last 48 hours is an elderly woman suffering from heart problems. The specialists have been investigating her symptoms in the hopes of discovering a treatment. Jill realizes that Matilda and the woman are the city's sole exceptions. Brian urges Jill to accompany Matilda to the hub to assist the doctors, but Jill resists because she is afraid of the experiments the doctors will perform on her daughter. She then runs home to hunt for Matilda, only to discover that she is at the chapel with Doris. Matilda can still sleep, according to everyone at the chapel. The pastor preaches on Matilda as a beacon of hope. Now, the church's fanatics want to sacrifice her in the hope of regaining their sleep. Back at home, Jill suspects that if people discover Matilda can sleep, she will be in grave danger. So she packs a bag of needs and decides to flee society. Brian joins her and Noah on their walk to the church. They witness multiple robberies while on their route. They also discover the body of a police officer in an alleyway. People have already gone nuts as a result of sleep deprivation. Jill arrives at the church and hears the congregation debating whether or not to sacrifice Matilda. Brian tries to persuade the people to let her go to the hub and assist the scientist in developing a cure, but a police officer who supports her sacrifice shoots him dead. Everyone panics and begins to run around. Jill manages to gather her children in the midst of the mayhem, and the three flee to a neighboring forest. Noah persuades Jill to go to the hub because people will kill Matilda if he and Gil die within a few days. Jill realizes that some outdated models of autos must still be operational as they decide their next move, so they head to a local garage to look for one. Jill quietly walks inside the garage while Noah and Matilda hide outside. She discovers that two guys have ransacked the property and intend to claim all of the cars as their own. Jill proceeds further inside and obtains the keys while remaining hidden. They begin their trek to the hub after discovering a working automobile. Matilda eventually falls asleep in the back seat of the automobile. Noah is surprised by his sister's ability to sleep given the circumstances. When they observe an accident in the middle of the street, they come to a halt. Jill approaches and discovers that the thugs from earlier had been killed in an accident. She calmly snatches their rifle and continues on her way. They eventually come across a group of nude people, apparently from a cult, standing in the middle of the road. To Jill's relief, they give enough room for the automobile to pass. The family subsequently arrives to a secluded library and decides to relax. Jill teaches Matilda how to shoot a gun, believing she'll need it after Jill and Noah die from sleep deprivation. Matilda is terrified by the prospect of being alone. Later, she is sleeping outdoors in the car while Noah and Jill look for the hub on a map. Because of the crisis, some prisoners are released from a nearby prison. Dodge, a prisoner, discovers the car and drives away with Matilda still inside. When the other two come outside, they are surprised to find Matilda gone. To make matters worse, the other convicts encircle them and summon Noah. Jill's ammunition runs out, and the criminals are about to apprehend her when Dodge takes the car back to the library. He protects Jill and Noah before fleeing. They come to a halt near the jet wreckage. Dodge finds a few clothes and other supplies among the ruins before heading north to the hub. Jill teaches Matilda to drive at night in order to prepare her for the idea of living alone. They notice people's dead bodies hanging upside down by the side of the road while they're at it. Jill rushes to her car, but the maniacs outside smash the window and grab them through it. Matilda pumps the gas pedal as they battle to stay inside, and they manage to drive away. They finally arrive at the hub after several hours. Jill and the kids hand over the keys to Dodge so he can drive to his hometown and meet his family. He offers to stay and assist them, but they decline. Jill then hides Noah and Matilda in a house because she wants to make sure the hub is secure for her children after everything that happened on the journey. The lack of sleep is beginning to affect her. She sneaks up on the hub while hiding beneath a bridge. She discovers that the army defending the hub is surviving on pharmaceuticals, but they are also becoming violent. Jill disguises herself as a lab worker and meets the elderly woman who is the only one who can sleep besides Matilda. Jill wants her to raise Matilda since only she has a chance of survival. However, the woman is too sick and elderly to comprehend her plea. She admits that she was meant to die last month but is still alive. Dr. Murphy walks into the room and notices them discussing. Jill claims she is there to assist. Murphy is clearly affected by his lack of sleep. She claims that scientists have discovered a medicine that temporarily improves sleep-deprived brain function, but it also destroys the brain. Jill goes home to see that Dodge, Noah, and Matilda have been apprehended by the military. Dodge had returned to assist them, but now they are all held at gunpoint. Matilda, in order to preserve their lives, tearfully reveals that she can sleep. The soldiers then transport her to the laboratory. Dr. Katz, the researcher, administers an anesthetic gas to her and is shocked to discover that she can sleep. Jill has now lost her sanity due to sleep deprivation and tiredness. Murphy presses her about Matilda, but she can barely form a sentence. Following that, the elderly lady suffers a heart collapse and dies despite the doctor's efforts to save her. Matilda now holds the fate of humanity in her hands. Dodge is assigned as a guard and is given stimulants to help him recover from tiredness. Meanwhile, Jill has hallucinations in which she sees Noah attempting to kill her. She regains consciousness when a soldier removes Noah, who had been standing near her the entire time. As time passes, everyone at the hub, including the medical staff and warriors, begins to go insane. They are having hallucinations and shooting everyone around them. One of the soldiers refers to Jill as Sandra and attempts to murder her. She shoots herself moments later. They then begin killing each other. Jill goes to Matilda's aid, but Murphy stops her. She dies a few seconds later as a result of the stimulants administered by Dr. Katz. Jill ultimately frees Matilda, and the two of them rush to save Noah. Noah, on the other hand, is also hallucinating. He touches an electric wire, mistaking it for a fish, and is electrocuted as a result. Jill and Matilda try everything they can to save him, but it is futile. The next morning, dead bodies are dispersed throughout the company, except for Matilda and Jill. Everyone has perished. Jill, on the other hand, is not in her right mind and is about to pass out. Noah abruptly awakens, alive and well. They are both startled and delighted to have him back. They note that Noah appears to have awakened from a deep sleep and is now acting normally. Matilda notices that Noah can sleep since he died briefly last night, just as she did when she drowned in the lake. The children carry their mother to a neighboring lake in an attempt to save her. They pushed her into the water and waited for her to cease moving. When she goes limp, they pull her out and attempt to resuscitate her. The film concludes with the youngsters performing CPR on their mother. Please subscribe to assist the channel, turn on notification and leave a like. Thank you for taking the time to watch. See you again soon.